Hi everyone, I just thought I would show you some of the features that I'm using in Jade at the moment to make it a little bit easier to go through cases and legislation, especially in the evenings when it's a little bit tiring at the moment because we have busy days and busy evenings. I'm sure everyone can relate to this. And for law students at the moment, you're really in the midst of studying for your assessments, and there's a lot going on. So I thought I would just drop in to let you know about some of the features that I'm using in Jade at the moment and how these may help you. Something to think about anyway. So something I've been using lately is text to voice, and I'm finding this a really good way to read cases as a first reading. So tonight I went through a case of 129 paragraphs, very heavy on the facts and evidentiary side, not very heavy on the questions of law. It was really around questions of facts and evidence. The case was 129 paragraphs. It took me 1 hour and 20 minutes roughly to get through the case. Ordinarily, it would have taken me about 3 hours to do a first reading of that case, even though I'm a very fast reader. So I found that to be really great. And what I will do, obviously, is go back and do a second reading, or if not, a third reading of that case and add notes at that stage. But I just found it to be really good to just have the text to voice and to listen to the case. And I just sat there with my eyes closed at some points, listening to the case, actually taking in what was being said, absorbing it with complete silence around me. I was able to really listen to the case, and I found that to be really helpful. So that's something to think about. It's something to think about if you can do that with your notes, if you can do that with cases that you're reading, with legislation. It may be good for you. You have to really try it out and see if it works for you, but it's something to consider. So let me give you an example. What you do is you go to the part of the text that you would like to read, and you highlight it and then right click. And I was doing a read out loud function earlier, so I'm going to continue to read aloud from here.
Background. The applicant lodged a pre-claim for parental leave pay on September 6, 2017. The applicant nominated a paid parental leave period start date of February 1st, 2018. On September 25th, 2017, the applicant was advised by way of a letter from the department that her claim for parental leave pay had been assessed. That letter included the following information.
So that just gives you an example. Now what you can do is you can select different voice options up here in the right hand corner, and you could make it that the speech is actually a little bit faster. And I was doing this for the case earlier. I made it a little bit quicker because I generally speed read, and that pace that I was just playing it at would probably put me to sleep. So I have to have it a little bit quicker for me to really stay engaged with the content. So let me give you an example of what it's like a little bit faster.
Background. The applicant lodged a pre-claim for parental leave pay on September 6, 2017. The applicant nominated a paid parental leave period start date of February 1st, 2018.
So you can change it as suitable, and there are also different options in terms of the voice. So you can choose a voice. So you can pick an Aussie accent if you like. You could have a male or a female. And so there are different options. You can pick different accents as you like. Let me give you an example here of an Australian accent.
Background. The applicant lodged a pre-claim for parental leave pay on the 6th of September, 2017. The applicant nominated a paid parental leave period start date of the 1st of February, 2018.
So yeah, you can really pick which voice is more engaging for you, and you could change it as you go if you like. Okay, so that's the voice, that's the text to voice option. Now I want to show you something else. When you go back to do a second reading of the case, or even legislation, because you can access legislation through this database as well, you could do the same thing. Makes going through legislation a little bit less tedious, especially when you're studying very tired. So you've got to think about different techniques, things that you can do to make it easier for yourself when you are working tired. So for example, you know, let's say I want to make notes now. I've read through the case already. Maybe I've listened to the case, or I've read through it, or a combination. I can then go back and add some jade marks, they're called. So what I can do is highlight a relevant portion of the case, and then it will pop up here with these options. And what I can do is add a jade mark. And here, this is where I label the statement. I label it as, you know, in some circumstances it may be obiter dictum, in other circumstances it could be ratio decidendi. I could put in a comment about the strength of the statement of law, its weight. I could make any other comment that I would like to include. If there are ambiguous words, I may put in a comment about that. So it's up to you what you would like to put in, depending on what's relevant. I know for first year law, you're definitely focusing on that distinction between obiter and ratio. As you progress through your degree and you start to look at more high court cases, it may be less relevant making that distinction, where you could actually be analysing really complex law, complex facts, complex evidence. And just making that simple distinction between ratio and obiter may not be as pertinent as you start working through the higher jurisdictions. But nonetheless, you will allocate that statement as you choose, and you could also include a color to color code it as well. So let's make it purple, and then you can also add comments as well. So you could add additional comments if you'd like. And you'll work through your case. You'll make those different annotations as you go. And the great thing is that you can then print or download your jade marks. So what you do is you go to